2024. It is 6 p.m. Can I please have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. So everybody is aware, we're recording the meeting via WCAT 6, our local access network. It's also being recorded via Zoom and live streamed on Facebook also. If anybody else is recording, please let us know so we can let the rest of the public know. If you're going to be called upon, or if you're going to ask a question or give any advice, please identify who you are and what your position is with the town for our Zoom meeting requirements. Okay. So first thing on the agenda is discussion with Quabog Regional School District Superintendent Duff on the proposed amendments to the regional agreement and the FY25 district budget. So with this one, Mr. Duff is not able to meet with us, and we're looking for Mr. Valise, because he's supposed to be here.
I just texted.
There he is.
Hey!
And Mr. Valise is here. And he is our representation on the school district board. But Mr. Duff had something going on and he couldn't make it tonight, so he wasn't able to come to the meeting tonight. So he's asking if he can be on next week's agenda. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So that is fine. With that, we do have a copy of the proposed regional agreement. And I was looking through it, and there are several things that have caught my eye that are in the proposed regional agreement, which does include North Brookfield, which I don't think the town accepted North Brookfield into a regional agreement yet, never mind being part of a regional agreement, never mind writing a regional agreement with them in it. I think we're getting ahead of the horse on that, and I think there should be a real talk about how if North Brookfield is beneficial to our town to have a regional agreement with them. When you have a school district that's in trouble, such as another town, it's might not be as wise for us to jump into that agreement with them, and it may not be beneficial to our community for that. So as I was going through the regional agreement, I found several things in there that stand out, which I'd like to talk to Mr. Duff about and ask. And these things should be out in the public, so everybody in the public should be able to read this and see what this is. And it seems like this agreement is very much sided towards the school district and taking away some abilities from the towns to be able to govern themselves in certain aspects. Do you guys have any thoughts on this yet?
No. I mean, the stuff that you pointed out didn't sound very good, so.
No. Mr. Valise, as far as everything you've learned with the school district and going to these school district meetings and combining the three districts, have you found if it was beneficial for Warren to be in this?
It's really unknown. They hire a company to kind of like do a study of what would happen. It wasn't, like really, really positive. Like we we should be able to sell this to our town people and say, hey, this is gonna benefit, the town. So I always ask for, what if we do nothing? We're at this point, where are we gonna be in 10 years if we do nothing? What happens if we go into the agreement? How are we gonna be in 10 years? But also, parallel comparing all three towns, what happened, and it wasn't really a true, answer to that thing. I think at some point they did say that North Brookfield was going to get benefit, and North Brookfield and Warren weren't gonna get as much as benefit. But it wasn't, I really wanted to be able to have a tool to show the people, if we do this, this is gonna happen in a positive way. But we never got to that point.
Right. So, we've been looking at this and trying to see what's the positive outcome for our community. I wish other communities the best, and I hope they can make it and do what they can. But we have to look out for the residents of Warren. And the way this agreement is broken up, and the school, how kids are gonna be placed in the different schools, where, in my understanding, the middle school started at 7th grade, they're starting middle school at 6th grade with this. So grades K through 5 will remain within the towns. So kindergarten to 5th grade, it will remain in your town, so we'll have our Warren Elementary up to 5th grade. And then from 6th grade to 8th grade, they'll be going to the proposed middle school, which is in North Brookfield. So they would actually be busing to North Brookfield to go there. And the high school would be at the regional high school where it is now. And that would be from 9th to 12th grade. And there's just how other things in here about how school committee members are elected. They do a good thing because they drop it down to 3 members per town. And they lose from 6 members, which the school committee is way too big compared to most school committees. Mr. Farrar, what was Chickapoo's school committee?
I'm not sure about Chickapees, but Springfield only had 7 members.
Springfield,
Yeah.
being a massive school district,
Yeah, yeah.
has 7 members
Yeah,
of their school district,
Yeah.
where our small towns
yeah.
have 12. So, could probably do some trimming there.
So, do we even know, so North Brookfield's gonna end up as the middle school, do we even know what shape that building is in?
No?
We don't have any kind of report on, like, is it gonna need a roof in 5 years, cause we're on the hook for that then.
It's in poor condition, because they can't
Okay.
afford to fix it up.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's gonna be on us in West Brookfield and North Brookfield, but on all of us to fix up then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Cause it's gonna be a shared resource.
Yeah,
Right.
and the process, I think, has been pushing back because the plan was to start on 2025, and I don't
Mm.
think that will happen. Then
Yes.
the whole thing will have to go to each town for in a town meeting where the public will vote yes or no. If all 3 towns go yes, then it happens. If one town votes no, nothing happens.
Yeah, okay.
But I agree, we need to see, the details on, because if we accept this, it's like we take care of it, that too, we get
Yeah.
a 1/3
Yep.
of responsibility of everything that we go into.
So everything, the roof, the HVAC, structural, I don't know, I mean, what would be an assessment of that building, right, to see what would come up?
And I couldn't find, it's like right now, the difference between both towns is 60-40 in in proportion, what will happen? Is that 33%?
Well, it'd be population.
Will be population?
So say, yeah, I mean, say I mean, so our numbers
So we
wouldn't
have the larger
change.
no, we'd have the larger
Well,
population,
in-
because they only got a few students.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so, we would still have the same number, West Brookfield would have the same number, so you gotta add in whatever North Brookfield is gonna be, right? And then your percentage of the three from that total. So in relation to West Brookfield, we'd still be roughly 60-40, but then you gotta figure out what North Brookfield's gonna be, and then we might be, I don't know, I mean, say they had
It's
40% of what we are.
And we're
so-
talking about population of people living in town or student population?
Student.
I think it should be residents population because everybody votes on it, right?
No, it's about how many are using the resource. It's how many
'Cause that's how
students
they
are
get
actually
funding.
going. Because they get student aid per child,
Yeah.
not per household in the town.
But
Because
every
they have a
household
lot, they have a
votes.
lot, they
I
have,
could find that out.
they don't have as many people in town per population, but their child population is declining, which is becoming a problem for them.
So
It's
that-
becoming a problem for every town, but
But that means that if something happens to their building, we
pay more.
foot more of a bill.
yes.
I mean, say they end up with 30 kids, I know that's ridiculous, but, you know, now we have like, there's 1,000 in the school, right?
We're sending more
So we're
kids to
roughly
their town.
600.
Right.
And West Brookfield's about 400, right? So let's say, you know, maybe they're 500,
No, they're not even that.
300?
No. I think they're only
Holy
around
cow.
The
100.
graduating class, I think, was only 12.
Oh,
Yeah,
holy
they're
shit.
really small.
Oh, that's not a good thing.
No, it's proportionally.
Well, one
ba-
thing is, we
it's
already
not
get
in
a
our
lot
favor
of,
at all.
one thing is, we already get a lot of school choice coming from North Brookfield,
Right.
That's-
which is a good thing.
That's a good deal for us.
Well, and that's my thought right there, is why would we get into a regional agreement? Is honestly, if their school system fails, and I wish they could do their best and make it work, but if we don't jump into it and we don't bail them out, and their school system fails, their kids are gonna be coming to us anyways. And then we don't have the bill for a school that is, we're gonna have to foot the bill for them. Because now we gotta send our kids there, and we gotta make sure that the building's adequate and, you know, everything's proper for our kids to go there. And, you know, that's not fair to us. Because now we're paying to fix up their school in their district, because they're in our district now, when they're really not putting a lot of kids into our school system.
That's why it was so important for me to ask the consultant, what if we do nothing, and what if we do it? You know, what will be the difference? Because that will show up, you know, some numbers, and, you know, and the projections will be very, very important.
So all those consultants were previous superintendents of schools, and they all have their, I hate to say their agenda, but they're all previous superintendents. You know, you need to have a numbers guy, an accountant, to look at it and say, okay, strictly by the numbers, what's this come up to? And, you know, how is it gonna financially benefit or profit one community or another community by adding this? Does it, you know, business-wise, does it make sense to assimilate this company into our corporation? No. You know, because now we're taking on a field business with bad infrastructure and needs repairs. Their town can't afford it, that's why they're reaching out and looking for this. And now, why are we gonna get into that? When we could just sit there and say, let them go under and we'll just take over their business anyways. You know? Because their kids gotta go to school. They're gonna have to send their kids somewhere. Let them bus out of district, let them pay to bus their kids to us. And there we go. And then if they ever decide that they get enough children or enough kids that they can bring up their own school district, let them bring up their own school district. But right now, I don't see it as being a benefit. I would like somebody to convince me otherwise. It would have been nice to have Mr. Duff here. We told him the meeting was gonna be here. But again, you know, we'll meet with him again next week and we'll ask him the same questions.
So, according to a website I found, there's 454 students in the system from K to 12. Their proficiency in reading, the students, is 33%. The proficiency in math is 18%.
This is North Brookfield?
North Brookfield.
Oh my God.
Which means, so I don't know what's going on there, but those kids in that state of learning are gonna be into our system. It's gonna drag our stats down. I mean, I don't wanna say anything bad about anybody. Oh, that's in the element, let me see what the high
That's
school-
another way to look at it, the stats, you know.
It
Well,
didn't change.
it's sad to say, but
Yeah, so, it's not so good.
no. Again, it's not, we're not a charity here, it's a town. You know, we gotta be able to run the town and manage it for our residents and for our kids that are here. And, you know, if their school system fails, then they start sending them out to other districts.
It's probably cheaper for them.
It's,
They could shutter the building and just send all their kids out.
well,
right?
it's probably not the popular thing for them to do in their community because
We gotta make
yeah,
hard
the
choices.
town probably wants to maintain their schools and they want to be able to maintain jobs in their school, well, their town. But you know,
But that's something we can't really
there's
help.
Sturbridge the kids can go to, there's, you know, there's Charlton, there's
Yeah.
Ware, there's us, you know.
Yeah,
There's Brookfield, there's a lot of school systems here. Combining our school system with theirs, because they're failing, is not gonna help our town.
no.
And you know, I really wanted to end up with a good tool, because it doesn't matter what we say, we only can recommend to the town, you know, vote yes or vote no, you know, in favor of our town.
But they're not even given a choice. They're automatically writing this school district into the agreement.
Well, they have to have that ready to,
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. They gotta,
You could have it ready,
yeah.
but do it for the next election.
Well, it's not gonna happen.
it's not gonna happen now, right now.
This is for
But
next year.
they should be voting, again, they should be voting, yes, we want to bring North Brookfield in, or no. And then let's do a regional agreement. They did a regional agreement including North Brookfield, and that's what they're putting in front of the residents to vote on. Is saying, this is our regional agreement, including North Brookfield. It's not given a choice. You're gonna vote on this regional agreement, yes or no?
Well, if they vote yes, it happens. If they vote no, we just keep the way we are.
Yes, but if they gotta put it as, if you vote no, we don't have a regional agreement.
Then we make one.
And then we're gonna have to lay off teachers, we're gonna have to fire staff, we're puppies and, you know, falling out of the sky and the world's ending. They throw all that drama up there all the time and get people fired up and get parents fired up, and they wanna vote, oh my God, we have to make sure this gets pushed through, because if not, our kids aren't gonna have a school. This is the wrong way of going about it, and I honestly think our legal should go through this, because I've been pulling a lot of things out of here. And they've added things in here that really take away the rights of towns to be able to govern how the school is going and elections and stuff.
Well, I thought those were already in there.
Yeah,
right? That
but some
one-
of this should be taken out of there,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
the wording. And they should really have a regional agreement between West Brookfield and Warren. And if the town voted to bring on North Brookfield, then vote on a regional agreement. And then we gotta look at one of the things in here. The town will lease the regional school district to the school district. We gotta look at that because it's a 20-year lease with an option to extend for another 20 years, so essentially a 40-year lease.
I think minimally, the lease should last as long as the agreement. So if this is a 10-year agreement, then the lease would be 10 years,
Right.
and that's it. And then you're done,
Well,
and you
and that's-
start all over again.
And that's things you gotta look at. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's written in here. And I don't know when middle school started at 6th grade. You know, my thought was middle school was 7th and 8th grade. High school was 9 through 12, and elementary is K through 6.
Well, I guess that's so to accommodate the number of kids, so if. you
Right,
look-
because they wanna add
they
more
add
kids to the
more
school.
kids to
Yeah.
primary.
Yeah, that's
It
exactly.
grows up.
But does that serve the kids well? There's a big difference between 6th grade and 8th grade in terms of maturity.
That's just
You know-
purely to put numbers in the school,
Yeah,
to fill the school.
that's,
Just to accommodate the increased number of kids.
yeah, yeah,
But it's not doing the best thing for the kids,
right, yeah.
so. So, you know, looking at this, there's a lot of stuff, and just started pulling stuff out of there. And this regional agreement's really not written that well. And it really has to be gone through, and we should probably have KP Law go through it
Okay.
and
Yeah, I think
give
so.
their opinion on it.
Not just the changes, but like David's saying, like this thing about how candidates are nominated and about the leases, which is
The
in there
elections
now,
and stuff.
that probably aren't good terms.
You know, we gotta do what's in the best interest of the school, well, for the town, and looking out for our children and our residents. You know, and it just seems like this is really one-sided, in favor of the school district. And, we definitely need to get an opinion on that for legal.
Okay.
So, retired from North Brookfield Public School Board. Yeah. Anything else?
No, not
Pick
right now.
apart more of it when Mr. Duff's here.
Yeah,
But right now, I honestly hope Mr. Duff comes here with a reason why the town should go to, you know, a three-way with the regional agreement. Because right now, I'm not seeing it, I'm not convinced. I don't know if you are.
no, I don't have, there's no data to convince me.
Are
Right.
you at this point?
From day one, I asked for that tool, tell
And
me.
they've not convinced you at all that it's beneficial to the town?
No, the last, if I'm not wrong, on the last meeting I was there with the consultant, they said it could benefit North Brookfield, it won't benefit the other two towns.
Yeah,
It will be the same for the two towns.
yeah,
No? And if we don't do anything, we get school choice kids into our school system and they're paying more. School actually makes out better,
That's probably, I never got the what if we do nothing option.
yeah,
because if they school choice into our system, and we don't take on the roles and responsibility of another school and another community, then we don't have to pay all the maintenance expenses, the insurance, salaries, everything else that's going on, that's added on to that school district. And we get the school kids into our school, which brings up our declining numbers, because one of the big issue that they have is our declining numbers. Well, if we bring them on from another school, that's fine. We don't need to increase the size of the district, we just need to bring the numbers of the students up. So that would help us. So,
Yeah, because how much we get for each kid right now? Like $60 a month?
yeah.
Yeah,
I think, no, a month or a year?
a year.
A year,
year?
$60 a year.
60 a
But that
year.
was this year,
Yeah.
Right.
They're
because
hoping
it's
to-
typically $30.
Yeah, it's typically 30. They're hoping to go to maybe 90.
Yeah. Yeah, but that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No.
You know, transportation is 100 times more expensive.
Well, transportation's 80% reimbursed,
Yeah. Now it's
So-
85, yeah.
so we get 85% reimbursement on transportation. So, which is still a lot of money, but, and you're gonna remember, now we're adding transportation, because if we go into North Brookfield and we gotta ship a kid from West Warren to North Brookfield to go to middle school, that's an increased expense,
Yeah, transportation is more expensive.
so. I gotta see how that benefits us,
Mhm.
so. All right, do you have any other questions about it, or you wanna talk about it more, or?
No, I'm good. I just did a quick
Table it to
math.
next
We would roughly be 40% of the equation. North Brookfield and West Brookfield would each be about 30%.
So it's still a bigger community.
We're still bigger, yeah. So we're always
So we'd
gonna
be paying more.
more. Yeah.
So it's great for them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because now they
And
go in.
that's how many are actually in the school district, or,
Yeah, based
because-
on loose numbers, but yeah.
okay, because again, a lot of them do already go out of district.
Yeah, right, okay, yeah.
We gotta see what their
But the
actual,
number I remember
what their actual
seeing-
enrollment number is.
Yeah, the number I remember seeing not too long ago was maybe 1,000 or 1,100, something like that, in our district.
Hmm.
And so if they're 450, you know.
Okay. All right. Very good. Do you have anything else to add?
No, sir?
Mr. Farrar, do you have anything?
No, no.
No? Anything from the public?
Was this just a study of the school itself? Did they do the study themselves? Or was this a third-party, unbiased study?
They hired a consulting group made up of retired superintendents. of
If I was
schools.
to vote on this, I'd want an unbiased study done.
Yes. And they couldn't, because I remember at a meeting, they couldn't answer when directed, how does this benefit the town of Warren? They couldn't answer it. So, nobody could see a benefit for our community directly. And if there was, it wouldn't be for many years. But that's a big if. So, you know, what it is North Brookfield's having a lot of problems with their school.
And I
Their school
understand
system.
that, for them to put together a request like this, it
Right.
should be, a study should be done and developed by an outside party who has no relationship to superintendents, teachers, or what have you. It's
Right.
unbiased, so you get a proper, valuable opinion.
It should be done by somebody that's like an accountant.
Yeah,
And, you know, do the numbers. What's the responsibility? They did it more on policy. They're looking at the policies and how to do this and.
Or
how do we
even how to
benefit.
make it work,
Right,
right? It's almost like you go in assuming you're gonna do this, okay, what does it look like now that we're assuming this will happen? Well, we'll
Right.
put the, middle school in North Brookfield, here's how that will look, and we'll.
and then has the residents had a chance to vote for that? Where they want their kids? Do people from West Warren want to ship their kids all the way over to North Brookfield to go to middle school.
Yeah, and that would all.
Because
come
now you're
in.
gonna drive all the way to middle school if something happened, to North Brookfield,
Yeah.
to get your kid.
Pick your kid up for a doctor's
And again, that
appointment
would
or
all
something?
come in on a third party, unbiased
Yes.
study, not an in-house study.
You know, even if this consultant, whoever they are, me blinded, if they had given me the tools and say, this is great, look at the numbers, you're gonna get benefit, I have a big tool to sell. I don't have it.
Yeah.
And Mr. Belize has been going to the meetings, and that's their claim, is we have representation, the board of selectmen have representation there. He's been going to the meetings, and he hasn't been convinced by anything, even when we've asked the subject. And I've attended a meeting there, meeting with the consultants, and they couldn't answer anything. You know, they just,
To me, it just sounds like they're trying to make this decision with their own body, and that's it.
and if you read the school agreement, the regional school agreement, that's really how it goes. They're kind of consolidating. And it's taken away responsibilities from the towns. There's points where electing committee members and stuff, and if a committee member decides to resign, how a new committee member would be appointed. And it was the authority of the Board of Selectmen to appoint a committee member to the school district. Now it's the Board of Selectmen and the school committee that get to decide who comes on. So it's like,
Yeah, that's not
wait a second, you're taking away from the town. And then another thing that caught my eye is for nomination papers. You get 40 signatures within your district or member district. So if you want to run for school committee and you can't get 40 signatures in your own district because everybody knows you and says, nah, we don't want to put him in front of the school committee, I'm not signing for him, you can go over to West Brookfield or North Brookfield and grab up with a few more signatures and get on the school committee. So it takes it out of the hands of the town.
So I'm wondering if it would be worth taking the existing agreement, marking it up, in Word, and proposing that.
And I'm thinking that's
So
what we're gonna
without-
have to do.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to
we come
propose
up
an
with our
alternate
own
agreement.
An alternate, yeah, exactly.
Is say, okay, that's fine, let the school district propose this agreement. We're not doing that agreement, because you're taking away the authority from the towns. There should be a provision in there where FinCom's part of the budgetary process for the school, where they have a say, whatever they meet with their budget, people over there. But same thing. They should have an overlying say of how the school budget is proposed and where things are going. Because right now, the school budgets are inflated. And we hear it every time, oh no, strict, right to the penny,
Yeah.
It's not. We know that, we all know that. There could be cuts made, and when you put it in front of the school committee does not want the town to have a say in that. They wanna take absolute say from the town, because then they lose their little nest egg. And it should be up to the residents, it should be up to the town to do that, and say, hey, we can't afford that, sorry, look at West Brookfield. They argued with them saying, we can't afford that, we are broke. School committee don't care, so. When we do this one, we have to do it right, because again, they wanna propose it for potentially 40 years. None of us are gonna be here in 40 years.
Right, and the only way you're gonna have real transparency is to have it done from the outside.
Right. And they're not
No,
gonna. Just
'cause we
like
all
they
know-
won't do,
We
just
all
like,
know that there is no transparency right now.
just like they won't do an audit with the budget.
Right.
And that's something else that should be proposed, there should be requirements every 5 years. full audit of the budget from an external factor. Out of the school district's grasp. And they should go in there and audit class sizes, you know, how many teachers, if expenses are being done properly, you know, everything. Not this, well, we do everything kind of matches up kind of audit.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is, it's a very basic audit. You know, we know from doing our taxes, there's a difference between H&R Block going through our taxes and saying, okay, everything looks good, here you go, you get your return. Versus the IRS going through your taxes and saying, all right, let's start looking at everything that's itemized, every single thing here that you looked at. No, you can't claim your dog as an expense, they're not a dependent, okay? And stop ripping apart everything. And that's what needs to be done, so. Mr. Conrad, you have a question?
Well, it would appear that being a taxpayer, what the taxpayers want to know is, bottom line, how much less is it gonna cost in the town tax budget if we go with North Brookfield?
Right.
If it's gonna cost more, it's not done.
Nobody can answer that. Can't answer it. It's gonna add students to the district, but it's also adding more teacher salaries, more retirements, more maintenance expenses for the school,
More transportation.
more transportation. So that's what needs to be looked at. That's why you need a numbers person to sit there and go through it financially and say, how is this financially benefiting this community? And where over the next projected 10 years is it gonna be? Is it gonna be financially better each year? Or as things degrade, is it gonna be worse?
Well, as you.
And according to this, they want us to sign a 20-year contract with
An option.
a potential option of another 20 years. So a 40-year contract on a regional agreement.
Well, as you yourself know, 1/3 of Warren is over the age of 65.
Right.
These are the property owners.
But they don't go out and vote. In these meetings, anytime the school comes up, it's all parents and teachers that show up.
Yeah, I know.
And that's pretty much because the elder population doesn't feel they have a place to be there because they don't have kids in the school system.
Right. But they're the ones that gotta pay for it.
Right, but they don't see it that way.
Well, you know, that's why these things happen. And then they complain, saying, well, why didn't somebody stand up for me? Well, we tried. But when it comes to the day to vote, you don't show up and you don't voice your opinion. And these things pass because, you know, 80 parents show up with one thing on their mind, that they're voting yes for this. They don't care what's in it, they just know that the school said it's gonna be good for them.
Yeah.
And that's all they care about. You know, I'm sure the union will propose this and say, yeah, it's great, because I'm sure it's gonna add numbers to the union numbers, because it's gonna be a larger school district now, so it's gonna increase the size of the union. So, they're probably all gonna be pushing for it, you know? Well, we gotta look at it for what it is, and what the numbers are. And if you can't tell us that it's gonna benefit our community, then why should we do it? So, anybody else?
Just had a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Ray Capaco, Warren resident. What you have in front of you, is that just a courtesy copy of what's being proposed? Is this being put on, is it being put forth as a warrant article? I don't understand the current.
This is their last proposed regional school district agreement between the three schools.
And so how would it get ratification? What's the process for ratifying that?
Well, the town would have to actually vote on it.
So there's nothing pending. This is just they're just offering it
Proposed, yeah.
This
for
is the
review.
proposed.
It's not gonna happen this year.
Okay,
This is one of those things where, if we're not addressing it now, and we wait to the last minute,
yeah,
people aren't gonna be aware of what's in it.
I understand that.
You know, we change things as it's being drafted,
Yeah,
but we're not having a say. The town has no say. It's being done, and it's being done as the 3 towns. There's no option of the 2 towns. So if the town votes no against this, what do you start from point 1 again? Because you have no
Okay.
alternate. You just have the one that they're giving you. So, our thing is, you know, we gotta make sure that we're ensuring the town is protected also with this. You know, and I know, well, with a town vote, they can go beyond a 3-year, but the Board of Selectmen can only enter into a contract for a 3-year term. They got potentially a 40-year contract right here. Before, you know, none of us are gonna be here while this thing's still around. So,
okay.
that's one of the other issues too, is because, you know, you were talking about a 10-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
You know, leasing of properties. You know, they got a lot of stuff in here on how properties are gonna be designated and leased, and, designed.
So here's what I'll do. I have a copy of the PDF, and I just looked, there are things that will convert a PDF to a Word document. So I'll do that, and I'll mark it up, or I'll start some
I
editing.
have the Word.
Huh?
I
You
have
have
the
the
Word.
Word one?
I sent you guys the Word.
Of the original.
No, this.
Yeah, I want to take the original that's,
Gotcha.
was 10 years, 20 years ago. I don't know
Understand.
what it is. Yeah, and we'll start there.
So
Otherwise,
that
we're
one
gonna
is
have to pull everything related to North Brookfield out of this, and that's like.
That was PDF, the document you have is a PDF?
Yeah. So,
But you can convert it into Word.
that's, well, I'll try.
Just send it to me.
Okay.
So, did you have anything else, Ray?
I was just trying to understand, to make sure that there's nothing imminent.
Nothing in
No.
Okay.
We're hoping that they don't try to push this forward this year.
I can't see how they could, but,
Well, they
Yeah,
would have
well-
had to have an article.
yeah,
You'd have to, well, again, we don't know they're not writing an article.
maybe.
When's the articles close?
Probably within a couple weeks. You know, the board is gonna probably close the warrant in a couple weeks.
All right, well, I guess there's.
So they could present an article.
Yeah.
So this could be on this year. It would be the best thing to do.
Hold on, he's,
Well, when I did have a conversation with Mr. Duff, he was looking to try to you know, potentially do something at the annual. However, after looking at the dates and the timelines, he's waiting for some reports to come back and the review to come back from DESI on this agreement, on this proposed agreement, which has not been come back yet. He feels as though that it's not going to be within the time period to get it on for a potential annual town meeting in June. He did say that there is a potential for a future, maybe special meeting in the future. You know, that
You couldn't do it as special, right?
I think he could. I think he could.
Ah.
Well, packed.
Maybe,
Well,
another clarifying question. Derek, you could probably answer this. There was a regional committee that was established. Does that regional committee authorize, I mean, was that just a study to put this together, or did they have any administrative authority to actually propose, like, did that get voted on and affirmed out of that committee? How does that work? for this to even go, or was it simply representatives from the three towns who got together to try to construct something?
I think it's the third option that you're throwing out,
Okay,
because there were even residents.
okay. I may not just be aware of this, but I don't think there's been any kind of a vote by the school committee to even forward a new regional agreement to the towns. I could be mistaken on that, but I'm unaware of that.
I can't imagine they would be able to do that, because Desi hasn't reviewed this. It would
That's
be
what I'm saying,
premature.
is that I don't think any regional, any new regional agreement could even be proposed to the towns in any kind of a formal way. They could be doing it informally, which is what it sounds like is happening. But I don't see how they could be doing anything formally, number one, without DESI approval,
Mhm.
and then an affirmation by the school committee to propose a new regional agreement. I say all that simply because, just personally, I certainly don't want to dissuade the board from looking into what they have proposed before them and all that, but for me as a resident, I don't have to worry about it today.
No,
It's
no.
kind of what I'm saying.
No, we're just looking at, because coming up in the future.
It is,
And
and,
it's coming up, it's coming down the pipeline,
yeah,
and it's a concern
sure.
because there's no
Yeah.
alternates.
Need a lot more information,
Right.
yeah.
And there's a lot of, when we do ask questions, we're not really getting the answer, but yet when you're proposing a regional agreement, you already included it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you already made your decision in that regional agreement that you're looking at doing, you're designing, but none of us are even convinced bringing in this new school district is a good thing for anybody.
yeah,
So let's decide, you know, if you want to do a regional agreement, which we have to do because it's beyond 20 years, the other one's expired now. Well, you know, let's either look at doing a regional agreement between the two towns and then include them later on, or do a vote to say that we're gonna include them
yeah.
in it.
And again, just to anyone who is in earshot, yeah, there's a school, you have representation on a school board, so I'd encourage anyone who's got questions to contact their school board members and start asking some questions.
Absolutely.
If you ask my personal opinion, you know, through going through all the process and, you know, talking with my kids, my wife, my neighbor, a friend or something, it's sad, but I think it's not gonna fly. You know, nobody really likes the idea of putting all three together, you
Well,
know. So with one town, I like I said, it's just my, that's the feel. In one of the meetings, I even heard North Brookfield say, hey guys, if you're not gonna support us, please let us know because we have to do something about it.
Well, they,
And that's probably best for them because it's like,
yeah,
either tell them no or tell them yes.
yeah, I believe that it's incumbent on it sounds like North Brookfield is between a rock and a hard place, and they need to make a decision, and it sounds like there was a preliminary study done several years ago. They had to decide, do they want to go to regionalization? And I believe that was decided that yes, they want to regionalize, and then they have to decide who they partner with. And it sounds like they decided to go with Quabog, but maybe they should also be pursuing things with the other regional districts that
I think they already did. So we were the best choice out of like East Brookfield or in some other areas.
Yeah.
We came to the top of the
Yeah.
list, so. And I don't know how that came about.
Well,
Maybe
it'd be
the other
interesting.
districts said no, or maybe it wasn't
Well,
attractive,
And
but.
that'd be something interesting to know, because did the other districts say no? And say, yeah, no, we're good,
Yeah.
Hmm,
or were we just the better option,
yeah, I don't know.
or the only option? You know, I'd like to know that too, because how were we decided on to regionalize with us?
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has to do with transportation, and how they were you know, doing some of the draft work of, you know, the logistics behind transportation. That's what I believe it was talked about.
Well, even transportation in our own town's gonna be difficult, because every single time we talk about school budget, it's either special education or transportation
Yeah.
is the argument. So it's like,
It will be hard, like you said, it will be hard for a West Warren resident have their kid 1 hour every day on the bus. Because it's at least half an hour going and a half an hour coming back. So it's 1 hour of their day spent in the bus.
well,
that's
that's, we gotta
without-
remember, they're dropping off other kids too.
That's
on the
no
way.
stops.
That's non-stop. So it's
That's
probably,
the express bus.
that's the express one, yeah.
But that ain't gonna happen.
Good catch.
Yeah, that's not how a bus line.
My math was wrong, but it even got worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we got a lot to look at here, and I don't know. Do we wanna wait till Desi looks at it and what they come back with before we go to legal? Or
In
do
case
we go
there's
to
maybe
legal
some
now?
other changes, I don't know.
No, maybe we should wait, because,
Wait.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll wait, because let's see, because Desi might turn around and say, no, that's not gonna fly, and pull something out that legal's looking into, and
Yeah.
they get pulled out already. Or they might add something in there that makes it even worse for the town, so.
Right. Might as well have them look at a finalized, or what would their final proposal.
Yeah,
And so we save resources for them.
yeah,
So they don't have to relocate after Desi.
yeah.
Alright. Alright, then let's talk with Mr. Duff next week and see what he has to propose, and, you know.
Yeah, because he's gonna
If
get a
at some
lot.
point, it'd be nice to probably maybe have a joint meeting with West Brookfield and North Brookfield, their select boards, and have a meeting with all of them and say, hey, how do you guys envision this?
Hmm.
Yeah, because even Duff will get a lot more work. He is gonna have to memorize more kids.
Yeah.
So now maybe they'll hire an assistant superintendent, you know, I mean, you can start to see like how the admin's gonna blow.
Oh, yeah. It's
We'll
gonna
need another
expand out.
finance person, you know, they'll need
Two
more
at least.
HR, yeah,
And HR, and a couple more HR people, a few more secretaries.
yep,
Vice principals.
Oh, yeah.
yep.
Yep. So. All right. So we'll table that till next week, and we'll talk a little more with Mr. Duff and express some of our concerns and see what else we can get from him. Moving on, discussion on the town's first right of refusal for the property located at Lot 18 Town Farm Road in Warren. Second record, anticipated vote. So we have a right of first refusal on this lot. It's the same lot we talked about last time. And Mr. Farrell, what happened here again?
So their attorney had a title exam done. Initially, the title exam only came up with one record of lien. After he had submitted this paperwork for the Board of Selectmen to review, he discovered that a further deeper title exam discovered a second record of lien. And so this document is now before the board again for signatures because of a second lien that was discovered by the attorney. It was the attorney's error for only putting in one lien at the time.
Now, neither of these liens on there are municipal liens, are
No.
they?
No.
And do you know if they're still liens?
They're old. I don't know if there are any. One's from '91 and one's from 2005. Looks like.
But they're nothing to do with our town?
No.
Okay.
They would have to. That's why they did a title exam. So they would have to clear these potential liens anyways at the closing.
Mhm.
Well, no.
Then you don't have clean title.
Yeah, you can accept it without a clean title.
Oh.
If the next,
Yeah, I mean,
if the purchaser knows that there's a lien on the property,
Mhm.
they would just have to take over the lien.
yeah, they would have to be agreeable to that, but, I mean, you don't get title insurance, you don't, you can't get a mortgage, you can't pull any permits,
Mm.
all of that. And I think that's probably why they did a title exam and a thorough exam. They wanted to identify any potential liens that were out there because it's an older property. And
Well, would they,
even
if they
cleaner.
cleared the liens up, would they even show on the title though?
They would probably show it as paid. Yeah.
So these are two liens that aren't paid, and
They could be paid, they just, one of them just wasn't shown up on
Well, these
On
are
the
both
deed.
chapter 61, right? So they're
Right.
in chapter.
Right.
yeah. I don't know who.
Well,
I mean,
that's,
they're
that's the only
liens by
reason it gives
virtue of-
us that's the reason why we get right of first refusal,
Yeah.
because it's in 61A. But the liens, as long as they're not our liens, all we're doing is saying that
Well-
we don't wanna purchase the property, we don't want it,
Right.
by saying this.
But aren't they our liens? Because they got to pay now 5 years of back taxes at some
Well,
prorated
I mean,
rate, right?
they've gotta pay whatever the cost is to take it out of 61A, and then the assessors are gonna have to do that conversion, and then that will have to be paid. I don't know what
Yeah,
these,
they'll owe us some money.
yeah.
Okay.
And it depends on how long, because it's like prorated.
Yeah, right.
Right. Do you guys have any other questions?
No,
No, sir.
Right. Do a vote.
all right, so I'll make a motion to waive the right of first refusal for the second record. What is this? For lot 18 on Town Farm Road in Warren.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. And we decline the right of first refusal. And we leave the right of first refusal. Okay. Next thing is an acknowledgement from the governor and lieutenant governor on the town's FY 25 Chapter 90 allotment and discussion on proposed projects.
Okay, this was
Mr. Brown?
addressed to me, like, why didn't I get this letter?
You're the selectman according to that letter.
I don't know, why didn't I get this letter?
I don't know.
So how did this get here?
It came to me.
How could it come to you?
I don't know.
Was it addressed to me?
After I opened it, not on the envelope. But then I noticed it was chapter 90, so I copied it and gave it to Highway. And then
All
gave
right,
it to
I
Mr.
mean,
Farrar.
So
So,
we getting out of this money, out of the $400 million,
282?
$282,941.83.
$282,000. So almost $283,000.
Uh-huh. So typically, boards of selectmen get notified in, around February of what the anticipated allotment will be for, the next fiscal year's Chapter 90 money. Their anticipated allotment is 282,941.83. Our highway surveyor is made aware of this as well. He would like to come in next week to discuss, projects that the board would like to see done for Chapter 90, for the use of Chapter 90 money. It's not a ton of money, but it's in ways that we can get creative. Maybe use a portion of the money to in coordination with either some one-stop money or some CDBG money to round out a complete project in a neighborhood, or a street. But he would like to come in next week to discuss, some ideas and see what ideas the Board of Selectmen have for the highway department.
Do we
You know,
wanna-
that really seems like, it's $283,000 out of $400 million.
Drop in the bucket.
It's done. per-
That is a drop in the bucket.
It's done per road, how much road you
Road,
have.
yeah.
It's actually
Yeah, but-
200 million. It was 400 for
Well, it's
2
400.
years,
Right.
Yeah, but
so 200 million.
even 200 million, that's tiny.
Sounds like we got the interest.
That really is tiny,
Well, I don't know, I mean, if they divide it by 351 towns in the Commonwealth, right?
Yeah, but
We got 1%? We get 1% of that, am I doing?
I mean, there's always legislative efforts, there's a big push for, through the MMA, and the legislative action team over there to, to push for more rural funding for Chapter 90. We do also have a little over $1 million sitting out there that needs to be addressed for storms that were related to the July 2021 storm that hit the town. That money has to be, spent and used to make improvements, I believe in the Coy Hill Road area, and I think Jeremy has a
Jeremy's
plan.
working on that, right?
Yeah, but that money has to be used up
Yeah.
to be dedicated for that project. There's some opportunities here. If we got creative and coordinated with some additional projects that we have going on in town, that maybe you could round out a really nice project, even though it's a small amount of money. If you're short on another project somewhere, I know last year he petitioned to buy an excavator, which was approved, so he's gotten some new equipment there.
Mhm.
I thought you were doing a percentage.
You don't wanna know what it is.
It's less than 1%, isn't
Oh
it?
my God, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's like 15 10,000ths of a percent or something.
As far as next week, we have Verizon coming in, we have Duff coming in.
Yeah.
I bet if they do it by solar arrays, we get a lot of money.
Yeah, right. No, they probably tax us more on that. You guys are doing great with green energy. All right, well, yeah, we'll see what Jeremy got to propose, and I'm sure he's gonna make the right decisions to put it where he needs to put it to do the best for the town. All right, so moving on. Acknowledgement of the resignation of Mildred Gush.
Gushy.
Gushy?
Gushy.
Gashu,
Gushu.
Gashu.
Everybody said it wrong. I just want to Mildred Gushu, parking clerk, in discussion on filling the vacancy. Mildred has worked for the town for many, many years. She's been a great part of the town. We thank her for all her service. She's done a great job. And I think it's time for where she wants to take some time to herself for a little while and spend some time with her husband.
No, read the letter before you say that.
What?
Her husband just passed away.
Oh, I didn't know
That's
that.
that's part of the issue.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I didn't know he passed away. Oh, God. Okay, Selectmen, is with sadness that I resign my position as parking clerk in the town. I have been parking clerk for over 20 years. Age, health, and recovering from the loss of my husband leave me without realization that this is in the best interest that I resign. Sincerely, Mildred Bishop. I'm so sorry for her husband passing away, I didn't know that. I just seen them not too long ago. He was just helping her through the hallway. Wow,
Yeah, I don't know, I didn't realize that.
I didn't know.
Hmm.
Well, I'm so sorry. And, you know, she's worked for our town for a very long time, and we thank her for her service, and very sincere sorry for the loss of your husband. And if there's anything the town can do, we're there for you. And, you know, now we're gonna look to fill that vacancy. And I know we've had a couple people interested in that. And are we looking at anybody particular tonight, or are we just gonna, next week we'll appoint somebody with interest?
It's up to the board, whatever the board would like to do.
So, let's put it out there
Okay.
and see if anybody's interested,
Uh-huh.
and we'll go from there,
Okay.
all right? You just get an email from anybody, if somebody wants to do it,
Okay.
okay? You know, I know this is one of those things, Carrie's been filling in for it, so,
Mm-hmm.
but, I don't know if she wants to continue to do it or not. But we'll put it out there.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Carrie would probably be the best person, but
I'd put it
let's,
out probably
you know.
internally,
Okay.
and then see, give it a week,
Okay.
you know, see if you get anybody. The next meeting, if we have anybody that wants it.
You
go
put
from
it
there.
up?
It's
Okay.
only a $900 stipend per year.
Right, right. So, in the packet tonight, we do also have a pay requisition to pay Millie for the time that she was appointed until her resignation.
They both signed
Yeah.
it. Two of them, Derek
Okay.
has not signed it yet.
Okay.
Alright, so we got that. Next thing is the acknowledgement of the resignation of Christopher Elmore, operating mechanic from the wastewater treatment plant. He worked one day
Yes, sir.
and then resigned. Oh, we got another potential candidate.
We do, we do.
Very good. And then acknowledgement of the pending police retirement of Lieutenant James Early. And we are posting the position, or already posted the position.
Yeah, it's already posted.
Lieutenant Early has been a great member of our community and our police force. He's been someone to look up to and a guiding light for our police officers. He's definitely gonna be some big shoes to fill, and thank him for all the time he's given us and the opportunity. And, you know, I think we all hit that point where we say we had enough, and, you know, we look on something else that's gonna bring us to greater happiness and make our lives more fulfilling. But we appreciate everything he's done for us, and it's definitely a sad loss for the town, and I think for the police department.
Yeah,
Definitely.
please, obviously.
You wanna stand up and say something, Chief?
Yeah, I've been in this field for 23 years now, and he's been one of the best cops that I've ever had to work with. And we know from the letter, we won't get into it, due to personal reasons, he's not only leaving here, he's leaving law enforcement totally. And that's not just a big loss for the town here, it's a big loss for law enforcement. But that's something that's been happening for the past few years. People that are in law enforcement are dwindling, and you can just see it in my position as a chief. Out of 300 chiefs, I think 200 and something are brand new. So people are leaving this job in droves. Unfortunately, we're losing a good one.
We are. And it's sad, and a lot of it's political and policy driven, and societal views of law enforcement these days. And it's deeply saddened because it's a very noble profession. People step up and work their butts off to keep residents and, you know, families safe. And so, even when it means stepping out the door from their own families to protect somebody else's family, they do so, not thinking of themselves, but thinking of the better good and helping others. And they're treated like they're a common criminal, and it's sad. And society really needs to change. People's views need to change on this subject, and stop looking at police officers for being the people they are. They are our residents, they're our family members, they're our brothers, sisters, our husbands, wives. They're very good people that want to help others. And people need to stop treating them so poorly and give them the respect that they definitely deserve. And it's so sad to see the way they're being treated these days. And that needs to change. And I hope future generations will see that and change that. Because something needs to be done. But that's my word on that. You have anything to say?
Do we know what he's gonna do? What is his next?
He's looking private size, like National Grid.
Oh, okay.
You have anything, Mr. Luis?
I just say, I'll say that I admire him so much, I have so much respect for him, he's a great, great person, and, you know, we're gonna miss him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But wish him luck, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Just lost another good one. All right, discussion on articles for the June 13th, 2024 special town meeting / annual town meeting. All right.
Mr. Chairman, articles are due back to me by April 2nd at noon. They're going to be from various departments. Some departments have included articles with their budgetary requests. And so the FinCom is going to start reviewing articles, next week after they're due back in. This was put on just to get the board to start thinking about if they have any potential articles that they would like to see on. I know that there's a small list here with a couple of items here that Karen had put together for, that was mentioned in the past. There's some other items that we had talked about. Obviously, a wage compensation study for our new wage scale that is going to be coming out in fiscal year 26. There is a possibility that I would be able to get a best practices grant from the state, from Community Compact. They've historically funded these types of studies, and they have funded the study for our public safety complex, feasibility complex study. So we will be eligible for a round come the fall. The only caveat to that is that if we don't get the grant, or if the grant comes in later than expected, this study needs to be completed, by this time next year for setting of budgets. So it's important that the study gets done, and you may want to just reserve the funds as an article, and then we can always turn back the article if we get a grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it on there, but then I saw that you did capital planning for it,
Mhm.
so I took it off.
Yeah. So, you know, that's another, again, that's another item that is, you know, on capital planning's also radar too, as part of it. So there's that. When looking at the Department of Revenue's, you know, review and trying to pick off some things for some of the, you know, potential things that they would like to see us do. One of the things that they mentioned, and I know it's not it would be an article at the annual, but it wouldn't have any monetary value. It would be a bylaw change, or it would be in addition to the bylaw, would be to codify the position of town administrator in a bylaw. So you would have that position for years to come after me, whoever comes in, the position of town administrator would be defined in a bylaw, and you know, that's something that I can, you know, potentially draft up, and you know, could be codified in the bylaw. They Department of Revenue recommended it. That's something that, you know, you may want to do. You know,
So if it's not in the bylaw, it's something that a future board could just, like, if you left, a future board could just not fill the position, right?
Correct.
But if it's in the bylaw, then it has to be, okay. Yeah, that's,
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
so we could do that for this atrium? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
good with that, you good with that?
Completely agree.
Yeah, we've got this far. We need to, we don't wanna take any steps
Need to keep
back.
moving forward,
Yeah,
not backwards.
yeah.
So there is that, you know, a thing that always comes up at the annual too is maybe putting some, not a ton of money, but, you know, maybe $25,000, $20,000 away for any maintenance of any of the buildings that need to be done throughout the fiscal year. I know that we've.
That should be a reoccurring, you know, that we should, don't we have an account just set up for that now?
Well, no, I mean, we've had articles in the
Where we could
past.
put it in a budget now?
Well,
We should add that to like a budgetary item where we
mhm.
add that to our budget and say, building maintenance.
Yeah. You know,
Because we've been doing good with that, we've been getting a lot of stuff done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's, well, you know, it could definitely be, you know, put into a budgetary item, or it can be an article, if needed, you know, type of deal.
Again, budget line item would be more permanent.
Would be permanent, you know, would be based on, you know, you're looking at something that, you know, to see, you know, where you are with free cash. Obviously, you don't wanna continue, you know, the pluses of having it as an article. You're looking at your free cash position to see where you are. Okay, well, you know, we can spare $20,000 in an article to address, you know, some of these, you know, maintenance issues in some of the buildings, and pick away at projects in the buildings to get things done. And you kind of evaluate it as, you know, as a position of free cash, so, you know, the taxpayers are not paying any taxes on it. It's already, you know, been taxed, you know, money that has been, you know, just recalculated and recycled through the budgets. You know, that's typically how, you know, smaller projects can get done.
Let's do it that way then, we'll continue, because we've been getting a lot done.
Yeah, I mean, we
Get
picked off,
projects
you know,
done,
some
take
of the,
away.
you know, some of the stuff at the senior center, some of the lighting stuff out here, some of the, you know, some of the power washing, you know, some of the electrical work that was done in the building,
Found a sidewalk we never even knew we had.
sidewalk, you know.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is we have to do maintenance.
Yes.
So it, you know, it shouldn't be discretionary in a way. It should be like, we need to do this. Every year, we gotta do things to keep the
We're always
building.
gonna have maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna go away, so. I'm okay either way, but I just, you know, if it gets defeated, then we have a year without maintenance.
The one thing I worry
So-
about is later on, like, when we're gone, if the selectmen that come up and say, no, we don't wanna do that, and then there's no maintenance money
Yeah,
to do anything.
or they may just overlook it. It's like, oh, we.
Yeah, oh yeah, we forgot about that.
Yeah,
We'll do it next year.
yeah, I know.
And then it did get
On
figured.
the budget line, you can still do that.
Yeah, but it's on the budget line, it's all in there, this is maintenance.
And we know
You know,
what it's
it's
for
gonna
each
get-
time.
Yeah.
We know each year, we're gonna have this amount to do maintenance for the buildings with,
And then at
because we're
the,
budgeting it.
at the town meeting, you could say, well, last year this was 25 grand, why is it 0 this year? You know, are we not doing
Yeah.
any maintenance, you know? So,
When it's an article, it's just, you know, each year. I know what you're saying.
yeah.
I'd hate to, because we're making progress.
Mhm.
It's not a lot of money, but we're stretching it to do things and
Yeah.
get things done. And,
But a little each year goes along, it's the
does.
problem
It
where
does.
nothing gets done for 20 years, right? At the old town hall,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's a prime example.
And then all of a sudden, you're way behind the 8 ball
There's been times where budgetary money doesn't get spent either, you know, where, you know,
No, yeah.
you know, where it's all good intentions, we have this money, and then departments don't use it, you know. A classic example was the sewer department. They've had a line item out there for, you know, for a long time to address this concrete slabs and the cements. It sat there for 8 years, 25 grand. It just never got done.
And they needed to be repaired.
And they
the
needed
whole
to be
time.
repaired the whole
Yeah.
They
time,
were just
yeah.
getting worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just took the initiative, somebody sitting there saying, okay, we got this money,
Yeah.
let's fix it.
We've also got some money, and I've been talking to the chief about, you know, doing some stuff with some of his maintenance money to address some of the door issues. You know, the chief wanted to look at some of the door issues in the town hall building, you know, just to make sure that they're properly secured and to get away from having them like, you know.
You talked about the double doors in the front,
Yeah,
those have to be historical.
yeah.
Well, we were just looking at a guy would come in and actually fix the
The guts.
the mechanical of it,
The mechanical aspect of it, just the mechanical guts,
so that it shuts properly.
so it shuts properly, and we don't have to zip tie.
Because it's a strong door, it's a solid door.
Just the
You
guts.
just gotta fix it.
Yeah, the door appears to be laminate on the other side, so
Yeah, somebody.
I don't know if that's the original door.
It's not.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no,
No, but anything we do to that building, it's supposed to be
no.
done historically,
Mhm.
You have to get permission.
yes.
Yeah.
So it would have to be solid oak or whatever it was, a maple back then.
Quarter saw.
Yeah,
This would be just to look at the gears.
Old Sturbridge Village.
Yeah,
The
right.
gears. The mechanical aspects of the door, the gears and stuff,
Yeah.
inner workings.
Okay. Yeah, you know, because we brought that up before, and I forgot who it was, somebody jumped on us about the historical accuracy of the door, it has to be done historical. So, don't make any alterations to the building that takes away the historical significance of it. All right, even though it is a laminate door that's on there that looks like it's nice, but it's coming apart. All right,
So can I ask, didn't we have a big list, big list of stuff that we wanted on the ATM? It was more than 2 things, right?
Well, it was several things, but then we decided not to do them, and then we decided that, and then one of the things was the wage study,
Yeah.
so,
And there wasn't other stuff though, that, I don't know, I mean.
Not that I could
It was
find.
always like, Karen, put that on the list, put that on the list.
well, the STM, yeah, we had a big list, but then
No.
from then to now,
Oh, I see, okay.
there've just been a few things.
you're just bunching everything together now.
Could be, yeah. After 3 years, it's like.
Over the years. All the
Yeah,
articles.
Big
I
bush.
mean, if you can think of more, I went through the notes, I didn't see any.
Okay, all right. Yeah, 30 or 40 items, it would say.
I'll go back for the notes again.
Which is good.
All right, so we'll take the stuff and we'll get it on there and go from there. Did you have anything from that?
No, sir.
Okay.
Oh, and I'll mention that June 13th is also CMRPC's annual meeting, which is a
Yeah.
bummer.
Tell them to change it.
Yeah, Jim will ask me. to change it. Move it to Wednesday.
They like us.
It's not a big
Send something
deal,
to
it's
them.
one day.
If we can't make that meeting, your star town will not be able to be there for you.
Maybe they did like a breakfast instead, we could do that, annual breakfast.
Yeah.
Come back here for
You're making me hungry, move on.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. All right. Moving on. Review proposals and possible selection of a company for managed IT services for the town. Anticipated vote. So we heard, what, 3 different types,
3 different companies.
4 different companies
Oh,
between
yeah.
Northeast?
Mhm.
So, so far I've been really impressed with Entree. Entree doesn't do loaner equipment.
that. That's kind of interesting, so Northeast IT does a loaner.
Well, yeah, except when we had an emergency, they didn't have anything available.
Oh, okay.
So it didn't really matter.
So in theory, that's what it is, but, yeah, all right.
And Entree Technologies is also, well, about $12,000 cheaper than everybody else. And then the next lowest one.
Yeah.
And if you want the platinum, from TOS, it's $139 per person a month.
Oh, this is, okay, the gold, so that's the next level up. That was like 90, gold was 99 or something?
Yeah, 99, and that's when it
And you don't
comes to
even get
Blizzard.
everything.
Yeah.
But you don't get the platinum Microsoft at all.
Mm.
And to get that, it's like over 66,000 a year.
So I was actually impressed with Entree. They were very nice. They showed up. They answered the questions.
So I think the big thing with Entree is they said they would have so many hours of on-person
Yeah.
presence every month. So I think that's, if you don't care about that, you can look at the other stuff, but if you want that, then, unless they were like way out of whack on price, you go with Entree, if you want that presence.
Well, even the other ones were like, we really aren't gonna give you somebody. It's gonna cost you.
No, yeah.
It's gonna be extra.
Yeah. Even Common Problems.
It was like $100 and something an hour
Yeah.
just to get somebody to come here, and it's like, all right, it's gonna cost a lot.
I have to say, the other two, Toss and Conres too, seem pretty big.
They were much Fortune 500 companies and stuff, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's great,
Sometimes you get lost in a big
We're a
company
small town.
like that. Yeah, so, what, Entree was out of where?
Springfield.
Was Springfield. So that they're a smaller company, right?
Well, I think they're a little bit bigger than Northeast,
But-
but they're not as big as a TOS. or
Yeah, they're not
Conres.
like in Thailand and Germany and stuff,
Oh,
right?
well, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the others last week, it was like, wow, okay, they're like everywhere.
So we could potentially be saving the town $12,000 a year just from this. Getting equal services.
Yeah. Well, maybe better. I think we're
Could be
looking
better.
for proactive
Yeah.
ideas in management, right? As opposed to.
They were very knowledgeable,
Yeah.
very personal.
So our
What's your
number in
thoughts?
the budget right now is still Northeast IT.
42. Mhm.
Correct.
Okay, so if we.
But when you get to your budget sheets, you'll see that I did 4 budget sheets, one representing each one of these.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And they said they could do a flawless transition, we wouldn't even notice.
Mhm. That's what they claim, yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that I like about them, because they already have done this with IT.
Mhm.
before. So they have taken Northeast IT to theirs. So
Mhm.
they're not friends, but they know each other.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, so
Yes, sir.
what I'm hearing from the board is maybe the board is leaning towards entree. If that is the case, I could suggest that maybe entree, we work to get them out here to just look at, make sure that they have accounted for all of the computers, that the quote is 100% accurate, and that they know exactly how many terminals that they're gonna be responsible for, and to see if maybe I could get some references from some other towns. I do know one other town that they, do represent, and I did contact them, and they were very happy with their services, but maybe I could get a couple more and report back to the board, and, after that, if that's what you'd like.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts?
If that makes you more comfortable, it's okay with me.
What makes us more comfortable?
Well, I already know my decision.
Okay.
I mean, is their price gonna go from 30 to 44?
Well, no, but,
You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But that's, I gave each company a copy of our annual report from Northeast IT, which spells out our equipment, the number of email addresses, all of that stuff. So they had all of that information to compute what we're currently getting for services and how many units are there and different things like that. I just wanna make sure, because a lot of all of these depend on how many units that you have, currently active that they're gonna manage. So if they come in and they, do a quick walkthrough of all the buildings, making sure that they check off all of the computers and their locations and everything, they can make sure the quote is 100%
So
firm.
So you can have this done by next Thursday?
Sure.
And maybe the number can come down a little bit.
I mean, there's a possibility.
If it goes up by 100 or whatever, then we know, and it's not a surprise.
Mhm.
But I think we get better numbers from that. But I'm definitely, I think we're all leaning towards entree.
Yeah, I mean,
It
unless the
saves the
price,
town money.
unless, that we've overlooked like a bunch of computers or something.
Yeah.
They did also mention, to Selectmen Ihawker's point, they did also mention that, they could possibly do 4 to 5 hours of on-site one day a month. So I know in their proposal, it only says 2, so maybe we could negotiate that up to, 4 or 5, have them here a little bit longer. Then it gives them the opportunity, if they needed to run to the senior center, or run to the highway garage, or, there's a little bit more time here within the town to address issues.
Or even maybe, we ask for a minimum of 2, maybe a maximum of 4 or 5. So if they get here, they spend 2 hours and they're pretty much done.
Well, I mean, if they're done,
Right.
if they have
Yeah.
nothing, if there's no other complaint, if there's no other issues from any of the terminals, then fine, then they
Yeah,
can
we don't
leave.
need to
Yeah.
hold them to like,
Yeah.
a solid 4 or whatever, 5. That would probably be more attractive to them.
Right, so let's look at entree
Okay.
and get better numbers and let us know next week and we'll vote on our final
Okay.
on that.
And we're doing the police as
So,
part of this? No.
no,
okay.
but the police are still in part of the email system.
Okay.
They would still get the email and the
But they
Microsoft
still-
365, yeah.
Okay.
But they have another group
Yeah.
that does their,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so we'll table that to next week for a vote. That list getting bigger. Okay, discussion on items for the FY '25 capital planning, anticipated vote. Okay. So we got the Shepherd Building exterior. And then desktops and laptops.
Mhm.
wage classification study. And that's it so far, right?
So far, yep.
Have you thought about the Windows project?
Windows, from what I was told by, we have somebody coming in doing weatherization, the windows are in pretty good shape, from what a company had come in and mentioned to us. They need some adjustments, but other than that, they're in pretty good shape.
So what about this stuff here?
Yeah, why are we getting all this water and leakage?
That's not windows.
That could potentially be a couple things. It could be water coming through the mortar, that, the repointing of the brick,
sealed-
it's not
sealed
sealed properly. There could be some leakage from, I noticed in some of them, they're really predominant around the air conditioning units. There could be a seal or something that's broken around the air conditioning units of some sort, or some water penetration around the air conditioning units. But that's from what the company that was in here about 2 weeks ago from Green Communities. They're putting a proposal together to do the whole building envelope here on weatherization. And, we could work from there out, and then also address, potentially the mortar and the repointing of the bricks as well.
I know Green Communities doesn't like to do windows.
No, they
Because
won't do
there's-
windows.
There's no money in it for them or
No,
anything,
no.
so.
They do weatherization though.
Yeah.
A lot of the weatherization around the windows needs to be upgraded and improved. But the windows themselves, they said it was pretty good. Needs some adjustments. The windows, may need to be, adjusted somewhat, but the actual body of the window is in pretty decent shape. And probably because when the windows were put in, a little bit ago, there was nobody monitoring, that process. The contractor would just come in, put the window in, maybe not mark it correctly, it was a municipal project. I'm sure there was no oversight or lack of oversight. That can be done through weatherization, adjustments, the actual window itself.
It's good to know.
Okay.
It just saved us a lot of money right
Yeah.
there.
All right.
So, why is the wage classification on capital planning though?
Well, it's a tool, it's an investment, right? It could potentially be, it's an expense over $25,000. I mean, it's not a, I don't think
Useful
it's.
life of 3 years though?
Oh, yeah,
But I'm saying our standard is 5 or more.
yeah. Well, it has 5 to 7 years of useful life. It could be, there's a little bit more in depth than just the way, they're gonna look at the position descriptions, they're gonna look at, contractual positions, do a whole market analysis. You could say that if you don't want it on capital planning, you don't have to, but it could be considered as a capital expense. And we may be able to get grant money for it.
Yeah, you had mentioned that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys have anything else that you want to put in the capital plan?
Anything with boilers or AC units?
Nothing
or-
as of right now. I mean, the valve that was put in by BG Mechanical, the pressure has been staying. I've checked it a couple times. It's stayed right where,
Yeah, they're not screaming.
yeah, so we don't need one of those
Oh, expansion tank.
expansion tanks. That would have been about 7,000 or 8,000.
Oh, okay, that doesn't fall under capital planning anyway. But we're on notice then, right? We're gonna need to replace that?
Roof.
Roof.
Roof, okay.
You've got
We gotta
about
look at the roof because-
7 more years for roof.
That's gonna be a lot of money. We're gonna start having to put money aside for that.
Mhm.
So we should probably start thinking about that
Okay.
as a roof replacement.
Mhm.
And that I would do a replacement, because God only knows how many layers are on there right now, if they even, the last time they did it.
I
They
was told that
redid the whole
the
thing.
roof wasn't that old. I don't know, when was it?
I have no idea.
Yes, Jim on?
No, McKeon is, but not Dusty. Can you text him?
I don't have my phone on me. You can text me.
I would look into it,
Okay.
because that's another thing we would just wanna make sure that, you know, we take care of is the roof, if it's due.
How about-
If anything, we should be at least forecasting it.
Yeah, it should be in the plan.
Right.
How about going back again to those companies who do solar, and they will repair the roof and put solar?
This is a good place for solar.
It is.
It is.
Close to some farm or woodland somewhere, right?
It's the perfect place. I've
It
seen
is.
it, you know, advertised, like, we'll replace your roof, we put solar panels.
But I don't think that goes for commercial buildings.
Yes, it does.
Or does it?
Yes, it does.
See, there's hope.
Yeah.
I like technology, I don't like cutting the trees for
Right.
green, but here
No.
it's perfect.
Right. Dead space. Perfect for it. Yeah, if we could look into
I'll
that,
look
maybe
into
do
that.
solar panels on the roof. See if they'll replace the roof. And then we could probably get, you know, some money from it too. Reduce our electric bill. Perfect place to put the,
Maybe a
you know.
little wind turbine.
Good idea. A good idea. If they'll replace the roof.
Right, if
Because I
they'll-
don't wanna put panels up there for the next 20 years, and we need to replace the roof in between that time.
Yeah.
Unless they put everything, you know, covered the roof.
Then have the insurance company, well, the solar company insure the roof.
Yeah.
So if any damages happen. All right. Cool. All right, good plan.
Yep.
All right, moving forward. Discussion and possible vote on the Selectmen FY '25 budget, anticipated vote. Are we tabling this again? Or are we just gonna go with what our numbers are right now with the energy company, well, with the IT company we selected?
Wow, so in all cases, our budget goes down, it goes down the most with entree. Right, oh, no, I didn't look at that page. Hold on, let me see. 6, 4, 6.
There is also a request that I had received from one of the providers of our tower leases, Hamden Communications. They are looking to potentially increase their contract fee for fiscal year '25 by $275 a month. So that.
It's not even,
It's not up, no. So if the board wants to entertain that, you know, we could, you know, talk about that in an executive session. You know, they're saying that they have, that initially, when one of the repeaters was put on the towers, it said that it needed to be in a certain number of feet above the tower. And we put it at 150 feet, and they said that they only wanted it at 100 feet. And so they want to see if they can get additional compensation for it. Now.
they signed the contract.
They signed the contract.
No. They signed the contract, they agreed to it, we agreed to it.
It's hard to swallow that, to say they're gonna come back because they need more money now. It's like,
Yeah,
if they didn't do their due diligence in the beginning.
it's on them.
Mhm.
They wanna negotiate it now, after the fact. We've signed the contract with them. good luck next time.
So the contract will run out, I believe, next year, yeah. So, the only benefit would be is that you would already automatically lock them in to whatever, slight increase there is now. The others already have increases built in. They're saying that, that we put something up higher than what was originally in the contract.
Don't see how that can affect.
Well, then he's saying that's taking away from spaces that he could potentially lease out to other companies.
Wait, he said we did it?
Correct.
How did we do it?
Well, we had for our radio infrastructure people, they're the ones that put them up there. And put it up in the space,
Oh, so this
on the
is,
tower.
so the lease is for the tower.
Correct.
It was
Yes.
supposed to go in spot A and it went
Right.
into spot B.
Correct, which is a little bit higher, which he feels as though it has a little bit more value.
Higher value.
Well, okay, so then the installer messed up.
Correct.
Was it because they were testing and it was better reception out there?
Well, it probably is better reception the higher you go.
Well, and can we move it back down to where it should have been without affecting service?
I think it would impact service.
So I would get with
Hmm,
the chiefs
yeah.
and look at that.
He might be the one that installed it up there.
I would get with
The
Adam.
guy that
and
owns
the-
that tower, I think he's the actual
installers.
climber.
Wait, the guy who owns the tower did it?
I think he's the climber that goes up and puts the stuff up.
Well, then,
And
the guy who
communications
does
center.
the lease, who signed the lease.
Mhm.
Okay, if he put it up there,
And he signed for it?
then that's not.
And maybe Adam's gonna know more about that than I will.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
find out.
I would get with Chief
Yeah.
Lavoy
Yeah.
and figure out and narrow that down, because
The chief had came to me and, talked to me about this, and I said, well, geez, I said, no, the lease is the lease, but,
Right.
he said, well, the other ones, they have escalators. I said, well, the guy signed it, the lease is the lease.
right.
If he didn't put an escalation in there,
Yeah,
then,
When's the lease up for that?
I think in 2 years. We've done 1 year, we've got 2 more years.
The 3-year leases.
Year and a half we've done so far.
Aren't the other ones 10 years? Do you remember?
I'm not sure. No, they couldn't have been 10 years.
No?
They didn't go to town meeting.
Oh, must have
You
been.
can only do 3-year. Yeah. But,
I mean, if
yeah,
we,
get with the chief, find out more information about it, who put it up there, and, we'll have to look at who actually installed.
Mhm.
And in the end, we already signed the contract.
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, if we felt that we were paying too much, can we renegotiate the lease then, like next year?
I don't think so.
Oh, all right, yeah, just checking.
What he probably does is he has somebody that's like coming into town saying, hey, I'd like to put a piano right there
Yeah.
where that repeater is. So. Wasn't there somebody that was asking about that?
AT&T.
Why don't we lease?
Was it AT&T? AT&T was asking about a
It
cell
was
tower.
on your planning board discussion.
Yeah,
I don't
Oh, yeah,
know-
that's
I
right.
don't know if it's this,
so
I don't know if
maybe
it's
that
this
has
one.
something to do with it.
So why don't we lease our spot on that tower to this other company that wants to put it on our spot? We do a sublease and we move ours down
For
like
2.5
6 inches?
2.5 times the price?
Well, it's apparently valuable. I mean, what are they willing to pay?
We're gonna sublet our space.
Exactly. Maybe we can move it down and just put a bigger antenna, so.
Is there a way to, I know in other towns, if another tower goes up, there's a contract, not a contract with a town or a memorandum where they have to give space to public safety for free.
It is typically, you put in a,
Condition of the special
condition of the special permit for public safety.
Yeah, and that's,
That hasn't
this
been
town hasn't
done.
done it, that's why we're paying right now,
Right.
when we,
Oh,
most towns wouldn't be.
seriously?
Yeah,
That's
most
a
towns don't
big-
pay.
Big oversight.
So, well, that's, again,
No, okay.
people were looking at that stuff. But we have another tower that's looking at coming to town, or AT&T is looking at doing the tower.
Did we at least do that on the Washington Street one? You know, that went up like
I don't
3,
think so.
4 years ago? Did we put public safety?
If I remember correctly, during their meetings, they said they would, but when we asked, they said, oh, because it wasn't in writing.
Gotta be a condition of special permit.
That's when they always, oh,
That
yeah,
might
we
be a
don't
good
have,
article.
we don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't go in the writing, and they're like, yeah, we don't remember having that conversation.
Yeah. No,
That was
we can't
somebody
do that.
before me that, they
Yeah.
no longer work for the company.
Yeah, right. They always promise too much.
Yeah.
So is that an article that needs to be done
What?
to change it, put it in to your special permits?
No, that's just a
No, it's a
condition.
planning
we put
board
in.
thing. And it's too
We
late.
vote on
They've
it.
got a special permit, then it's done.
The only time we
I
can
mean, in
do
the
that is
future.
if they come back.
Oh, in the future? No, yeah. It's,
If they ever ask to amend it, then we can have it amended and have it added.
we could add it to the zoning bylaw, maybe. That's something to think about.
We'll do it out here.
Put a tower in this building. Next to
And
the
then
solar
we lease it
panels.
to all of them.
And we still wouldn't have cell phone coverage in the center of town.
So are we tabling this one too, or are we going
The
with?
budget?
Yes.
Well, no, we should go through it real quick, right?
Well, we've gone through everything. The only thing we were waiting for is the technology.
Well, I have a question, I have a couple of questions. Hold on just a second. So what we can do is, maybe Sarah on planning board can start a list of bylaw changes for next year, and we can put this on as having a spot for public service on the tower.
You may want to mention that at the diagnostic for the zoning bylaws.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so a couple questions. First of all, the copier lease, again, is wrong on this?
No, it's not.
It's supposed to be 15-14-13-5.
Yeah, it's 13.5. 15
Four-
was before we got the
The-
new thing.
Yeah, but the proposed was supposed to be 14, right?
13.5, that's what it always is.
Okay, then the budget that was mailed out today has 14.
The budget that was mailed out today.
Yeah, there's a copy of the FY '25 omnibus budget, the whole thing. That's got 14 on it.
Well, I don't know where they got that number, because that's not
So
my
this
number.
keeps-
Who mailed that out?
I didn't get it. So whoever
So I
emailed
don't
it
know
out
what,
to you,
like-
I did not get it.
I'll have to
But
find
this
that
is
thing
the
that I
one
had.
that I've been doing. Because you said that last time, and I went and looked, and I went, "What? No.
So the other question I have is, oh, okay, so that changed, all right, I guess that, okay, so if it's 13.5, it should be the same, okay, never mind. Cause it shouldn't go down, it's a lease, it
No,
should be the
it's
same all the
same,
time.
Except
Yeah.
the 15 was before we got the lease going, that we have.
Okay,
So now
I
it's
think it was over
13.5.
budgeted in 13, and then when I called, and it was, this is what it costs to, that's what the lease is,
13.5.
13.5.
yeah, we would have had the lease in '23, cause we
Yeah.
wouldn't have had this line item. So that was over budgeted
Right.
Yeah,
in '23, okay, all right. And 13.5 is really the 1,100 and
is,
change
yes,
times 12,
yes.
okay, all right.
You good now?
Yep.
All right.
Anything
So,
else?
are we voting on this one with entree, or are we tabling it till next week? Because we gotta get something over to FinCom.
Well, FinCom is aware of all of this,
Okay.
they understand that, that they're only waiting on theoretically, the selection of the managed IT services and potentially any changes to a tower, to the tower lease, communications lease.
So we tabling this till next week till we find out for sure that Andre.
Yeah.
That's their final number.
And then we can, amend this
All right.
Right.
with the
You good with
final
that?
number. and
Yes, sir.
vote on
Okay, we'll table it for next week till we have the final number. All right, warrants and bills.
it. All right, I'll make a motion to pay the following warrants. Number 57 payroll, $49,975.20. That's it.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Bills?
Make a motion to pay the following bills. BJ Mechanical, $3,178.
BG.
What did I say?
BJ.
BG Mechanical, $3,178.96. Marlin Leasing, $1,107.23. SBA Structures, $1,753.85. Hamden Communications, $1,500. Smith Vocational, $6,692. National Grid, $239.19. Weston and Sampson, $4,000. Comcast Business, $20.78.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. So next thing is minutes review and possible acceptance for any minutes anticipated vote.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from March 14th at 3 PM and 6 PM, and then March 21st.
Second,
You were there for most of the
Yep.
meeting.
No, I was just making sure, because the dog hearing I is not a part of, so, all in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. And town administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I have a few items I'd like to report to the board on for this week. Number one, as the phones have been making their way throughout all of the departments, I haven't heard of any major issues in this building with related to the phones. They were over at the fire station last week, and now the police station. I haven't heard of any issues with regards to the desktop phones. Highway, again, no issues. In the senior center, in the sewer plant, there will be no option for redundancy. The only thing that you will have there is a hard line into a Ethernet port, so that if the internet does go down at either one of those locations, there will be no, any backup of a system, because the wireless for Verizon in West Warren is not strong, and so that is a drawback. However, everybody else has had great luck with the phones. Everybody is really pleased with the phones. The phones, initially, I had said that it was about a capital investment of like $8,500. After having some discussions with Verizon in some negotiation and back and forth, they were able to come down to about $5,200 of a capital investment, so a significant savings there, as well as also, I initially said somewhere around $1,050 a month to $1,100 a month. Now they're looking at more along the lines of $922 a month. Okay, so that would drop our our initial thought of a bill down a little bit. We're currently paying about $860 a month if you include some of the wireless phones that are in the network. We probably wouldn't be changing wireless at this point. We would be leaving them with the AT&T because of the coverage aspects of the thing. So all in all, it would probably shake out to about a little bit of an increase of about maybe $60 more a month in terms of where we are. But you're getting a whole new unit and new system. The representatives from Verizon said that they would be more than happy to come out to do the presentation next week to the board and to answer any questions that the board may have. But given the capital investment piece of it, given the whole new system, it could be a great solution for a very old system that we have currently in the building. Still would have the operator attendant system would still be there. The voicemail boxes would still be there. They would have voicemail options that could go right to an email account as well, so you would also get notified in an email. And you'd be set up through the cloud and can be managed through the cloud. So if people change or change extensions, that could also happen as well. They would port over the existing numbers, so all of our numbers would remain the same, so that all those numbers that we have, we would have to go through, and I've already started the process of compiling all of our numbers and identifying them to workstations throughout the various parts of the offices of town, so that I can give them a draft list if the board was looking to go into the direction of Verizon. So we're going to have a map of where all the numbers are and in what departments they correlate and correspond to. The only issue is that if I'm at 106, okay, and there's an extension 106 at the police station, so it's not going to work, right? So you would have to keep one of them. You couldn't have both of them. So the extensions may get skewed that way, but we would be all on the same network. So there would be an extension if it's 106 here, it may have to get adjusted to 110 over there or something like that.
I don't think anybody's too worried about extensions.
I'm just saying.
That could easily
yeah.
be changed.
Right,
Now,
right.
I was asked a question from sewer department.
Mhm.
Since how they're not on our system, they have a
Mhm.
separate phone number. Would they
Mhm.
keep their phone number?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody would keep their numbers. So all the numbers would be same. They would just be ported over all into the Verizon network. And so, and to address some of the spam concerns that some members have, whatever spam you're getting now is the same spam you're going to get, because they're all going to be the same numbers. They're not going to be, internet numbers. So whatever spam or numbers that you're getting now, they're all going to be the same numbers. So that was their response to that. I don't get I haven't gotten a lot of spam calls. I don't know if anybody's gotten any spam calls here. I'm sure that they exist. I know that there's plenty of people calling looking to sell things, but those are all comes with the nature. But
So right now, is there caller ID on these phones?
no. Some of them I think have them. Some of them don't.
So the new phones
None
will
of them have
definitely
them.
have
None
it.
of them have them. Okay,
Mm-mm.
all right.
The new phones will have it, right?
New phones would have.
So you'll be able to screen.
Which is really nice.
Yeah, okay. Can you block? Is there a block list?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, good, okay.
The nice thing is it's like when Lisa was talking yesterday at the meeting that
You blocked
sometimes she can't hear what they say. So now it's there, and you can recall. There's a button that you can hit, and you can see every phone call that came in on that phone.
Oh, okay.
So that makes it even nicer too.
So yeah, if you needed to, if you happen to get disconnected or something and you needed to recall somebody, it's nice to get back to somebody if you lost somebody on the line. That is a nice feature. I just think it's a viable option for an aging system that we currently have. And so hopefully next week when they come in, they can answer any questions that you may have, and we can see how to proceed. Capital Planning met this week. We had a great discussion on all of the host of different departments' requests. Some were weeded out, and some were asked for additional questions and supporting justifications. And we have next week the fire department coming in and the highway department coming in to answer some of the questions that capital planning members have had. I reached out to the department heads to make sure that they're at the meeting, bless you, for Tuesday at 4 o'clock is our next meeting. I've been working with the sewer department since our, we were notified that we had a resignation after one day. We immediately addressed it and put the ad back out there to the public. And within 2 days, we had a few resumes and cover letters come in, but there was one in particular that came in that had some experience in the wastewater treatment plant field, had worked at a food distribution center dealing with wastewater treatment issues and managing that aspect of it in the private sector. This person had a Class 4 license. However, unfortunately, he let this lapse in November of '23, but he feels as though that within a certain period of time that he could easily retest and get that license back. He let it lapse because his current employer didn't require him to have a license, and he wasn't working in a municipal field. So he didn't want to have the expense of renewing the license. So now he's going to have to sit for the test again. It's our anticipation, after working with the sewer commissioners, we brought this person in for an interview this week. The person interviewed very well. The sewer commissioner chairperson really thought the person would be a good fit, as did the chief operator. And so they've asked to move forward with a conditional offer of employment. And based on this person passing, successfully passing and obtaining that license, there would be a request coming before the board to start that person off at a little bit higher of a step in the future, if all his background and everything checks out. But there is a conditional offer. This person has accepted the conditional offer, so it is imminent that this potential person could be starting.
Awesome, very good.
Also working with our police department, we've posted today our lieutenant's position as a contractual position with the Board of Selectmen, and that has been posted. Resumes and cover letters are due back April 16th, and we're hoping to find some individuals that have experience as being a supervisor in law enforcement, and I know that the chief is eager to work on getting that critical position filled, but it is bittersweet, as the chief had indicated. Lieutenant Early has been an asset to the town and to the department. So we're in the process of working on that with the police department. As we rounded out our training yesterday, everybody, we had a great in-house participation. I want to thank the Board of Selectmen for allowing all our employees to participate. And we had to, unfortunately, we did inconvenience the public for a couple hours by having town offices closed. But it's critically important that training happens for all our staff. And I'm thankful that the board recognized that. And so the training, I thought, went very well, and it was free. Okay, we had to put aside $3,000, but we were able to work with Maya and All-in-One Health and have that covered, so that it cost us nothing. It cost the taxpayers nothing. We can now reinvest that training to another training in the future for our employees. And I was really proud to see so many people at the training. We had 38 people in attendance, great number for everybody here. And I thought the interaction went very well. I thought that participation was very engaged, and all of the slides from the presentation was sent out today. We received that today from All One Health, and Lisa, I want to thank Lisa, the presenter, Lisa Maloney. She did a very nice job on the presentation and engaged all the employees, so that was good that we were able to get that done. Working with departments now on wrapping up the budget process. As I stated before, articles are due April 2nd for all departments, so I'll be getting all of those and getting those to the FinCom for review, and then ultimately for the Board of Selectmen. As we start looking at the April calendar, you know, a lot of towns have been doing something for Earth Day, and you know, I would really like to start something, even though it may be something small this year. But I'd like to start, you know, maybe just a downtown district cleanup. I know that we've talked in these meetings, in this room, Mr. Chairman, about nip bottles, trash around the downtown area. I'd like to put together volunteers for Saturday, April 20th, you know, just to come out for a few hours. We'll make sure that we get the equipment for, you know, trash sticks, trash bags, to volunteer to walk, you know, walk the downtown area and pick up some trash, and you know, we'll get, you know, we'll coordinate it with highway. Maybe we can get a truck out there, we can dump the bags in, and work up a cleanup for Earth Day.
April 20th?
20th, yep. For a Saturday morning, we'll get some coffee and donuts for everybody. Do it, and see where we go. I've reached out to the trial court to see if we can get some volunteers for some of the for the community service program, to see if they could help us with some support and some labor. They are committed to it as long as they get some people to do community service. We're hoping that they do. So it would be nice. I'd like to see if we could do that, and you know, we could design a flyer, you know,
What
early,
time?
quickly. Maybe, you know, starting at 9, 8:30. You know,
Want to do that early?
well, the trial court, they run until noon. So
Okay.
if we're going to get people to help us, you know, make it an early day, and you know, and maybe we could get if we started at 8:30 and we ended at 11. You know, people still have their whole day. We're not taking up too much of their time. You know, a couple hours, 2.5 hours, we can do a decent cleanup in the downtown area.
Okay.
So, the town used to do for Earth Day, I don't know who organized it, maybe the highway department.
No,
The fire
tree
chief.
warden.
Drop off bags to everybody's house,
I thought it was the fire chief. 1 year.
right? So you could request trash bags, and then you just
Oh, really?
picked up around your house
Mhm.
and left the bag at the end of the driveway.
Well,
and
you
then
used to walk,
somebody would-
because I walked, me and Tammy walked all Douglas Road one time,
Oh, okay,
and we cleaned up all Douglas Road, and we put them all on the side there.
yeah.
But that was,
Last time there was a
Years
dump
ago.
truck over here, and everybody came, pick up the bags, and went to their houses, pick
Yeah.
up the stuff, and then we fill up the truck in town.
Hmm.
It was very fun for the kids.
Yeah,
I think it would help, you know, the business community, obviously, and the residents, you know, people who use the town common area, you know. I know that we've talked about, you know, the nips that are around, you know, the town common area, and around the downtown area, and, you know, trash, and, you know, maybe we could get some special, you know, for any potential, you know, needles that may be out there. We could get those.
Sharps containers.
Sharps containers from Board of Health.
I hope there's no needles
Well,
around.
you know, you never know, and you always have to
Are
be.
there?
We have to be careful on that. You know, there, you know, it could be a nice little cleanup in the downtown area, promote a little, attention to our business community.
We could even extend the invitation to the honor society schools of kids from the school, because they have to provide hours of service to the community. So
Yeah.
that's a great chance for
Right.
kids to sign up.
So community service at the school, we could, you know, I did talk to Cindy Baxter about this. You know, she had suggested reaching out to some faith-based churches in town. She mentioned about the Boy Scouts. She seemed excited about it as well. So, you know, I think that, you know, we could, you know, see how we can do it this year. Maybe we can grow from next year, in the year after. It can start as something, you know, an annual thing.
Absolutely. Good idea.
We get rid of the railroad ties, right?
Yeah.
Bring gloves.
We'll just stop packaging all the railroad ties,
Yeah.
one per bag.
Yeah.
We don't wanna get too heavy.
No. No, exactly.
Yeah. No, it's a great idea, absolutely. Good job.
And obviously, this week we have Lucy Stone Easter egg hunt is this Saturday. You know,
Starting at 10:30.
starting at 10:30, and so that's always a fun time to stop by there. And so I would encourage any resident to stop by.
Are you gonna find some Easter eggs?
I will stop by. Yeah, I will stop by. I will definitely be there. You know, it's always good to look at the park and see how it's weathered the winter. And to
Doesn't
see
Tim
all the-
O'Brien do like that rubber ducky race on Earth Day, or is that?
That was the Friends of the Town Hall.
Oh, did that already happen, or?
They stopped doing it.
Oh, they did, okay, all right.
Don't we have
all
all those
the
duckies upstairs? We have them all somewhere?
Somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a big thing of duckies
I'm
somewhere
sure,
around there.
I'm sure Lisa Mendel knows exactly where they are.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. She doesn't have them all at home, does she?
I don't know.
In her bathtub.
In the bathtub, just a tub full of duckies.
And I'm also pleased to report to the board that on Tuesday night, after capital planning, I attended a meeting to testify with the powers that be at CMRPC for some technical assistance money that is made available every year for towns and cities that are part of the Regional Planning Commission. And we were going after a portion of it, $8,000, to do a diagnostics of our bylaws, zoning bylaws. We were successful in getting $79.25 of grant money to cover it. So it will cover the entire diagnostic cost of doing the zoning bylaws and looking at the zoning bylaws. So there will be a kickoff coming for the planning department and the planning board. So the planning board will be doing a kickoff based on the grant that we got and we received. So I'm coordinating with CMRPC and I'll be working with Sarah to get that on the planning board agenda for you guys coming up. I also want to make note that there has been some changes to the website for the building department, some positive changes. There's a new complaint form on the website for the building department that the new building commissioner, Bill Cantel, has put out there. So if there's a complaint of a problem property or a zoning complaint, he asks the public to fill it out and to send it in. You can simply, fill it out in its entirety. He's going to look at every single one of them, but it has to be specific and it has to be completed, the form. As part of the outreach and to handle complaints, he asks everybody from the public to fill out the form. You can email it in to the building commissioner. You can drop it off. You can mail it in. Anyway, there's a complaint form on there.
Where is the form?
It's on the building department website. on their webpage.
And then on the blue menu on the left, you have to go to complaint form.
He's also put on there the updated fee schedule that the board had approved for the building fees, as well as an updated application for a building permit, the updated building permit application. Those forms have been updated and are in better states now that they've been updated and they're on there.
He's only been here for a week
I
or
know.
two.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot.
good.
Very good. All right. Anything else, sir?
No, that's it, sir.
Good job. Well, thank you very much.
Derek, it would be good to make that form electronic, but he wants it signed.
You can sign electronic.
Okay. So that's a possibility if we could do that. That would be kind of
That's what I was
cool.
trying to look for it, but I can't find it.
Okay.
We'll do it on the computer.
Yeah,
All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. Do you have any questions for him?
I do not.
Do you, sir?
Good job.
Thank you.
All right. So new business. Any new business?
No.
Any
No,
new
sir.
business? No? Mr. Brown? All right. Old business.
Railroad ties?
Railroad ties, yes. I got an email from Todd Smoot today. He's talked with a couple of people at CSX, hasn't gotten anywhere. So he went a little bit higher up the food chain, and he's waiting for a response back from that. He says he should have some kind of response back within the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
I did leave Maurice O'Connell another voicemail on that. He's got
What's
the
up with these road
emails.
ties? Railroad ties. Why is he just leaving them there? I thought somebody bought these things.
Bottom?
Well, there's a contract that they come and take them.
Take them
Yeah.
and then they sell them.
Yeah.
Really?
They repurpose them,
Yeah.
turn them into toothpicks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's the
Oh, this
diesel
tastes like
fuel.
diesel.
Yeah, well, it lubricates.
They freshen your breath as they.
Oh my God. Then they asked why the guy was going in circles and then it falls down. You know what happened to him? He ran out of gas.
All right. So any other old business?
No, sir?
I got nothing. Correspondence. Well, we have two. First of all, we got Lost Arts LLC. It's on 954 Main Street, Warren, Mass. Hours are Wednesday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's with Lynn and Emily. And so everybody knows that's what their thing is. Please pay them a visit. They're a local store in our community. And check them out. I've actually been there. It's really cool. It's nice. So check them out. Next thing is from Ralston and Ralston Attorneys. And this has to do with the Board of Health. Sir,
24 North Street.
so 24 North Street.
Yep.
So what's up with this?
He has retained a lawyer. They called the other day. They want to have a Board of Health meeting with the Selectmen and Board of Health to have a hearing on what the determination is going to be for the property.
So this is,
In response
There.
to the notice of penalty that we sent to them,
so this is their attorney.
their attorney.
Yeah.
Okay. So why do they want to meet with us?
They're requesting a hearing, which they are entitled to under
Yeah.
Board of Health regulations. But they're also pulling you people in because he was at the meeting and was recorded on the
But it's your
initial
meeting.
We are having that meeting and you are invited to that meeting.
We're invited.
Yeah, so we should,
They specifically requested the Board of Health and Select. We're gonna set it up for our next Board of Health meeting in April. That gives us time to notify the tenants also so that they can be there.
so
Yeah,
what
no.
time is it?
I don't know if we,
6th,
What day?
April
would-
6th?
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wait, which-
Have a good
April
50-50.
6th.
not April sixth, which?
No, April 17th.
April,
17th at 6.
Yeah, I
So
wouldn't be
Wednesday.
able to attend
I have a 50-50 chances of coming.
that. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to attend it.
I
You
can't do
work.
that either.
So it's
I
only
think it
me.
should be your meeting.
Well, that's it, it is our meeting, but they.
If they wanna further it, then they can request us, but it should be going through the Board of Health because it's your penalties.
Yeah, and that's
And
how
it's
we.
your sanctions, it's your meeting, and we don't wanna step into your purview until we absolutely have to
Mhm.
and provide assistance, but it's ultimately up to you guys. You guys are finding them,
Oh, yeah.
so I think,
Can Jim go?
I can go.
yeah, he can
To
be there,
represent.
but
Yeah.
you know, again, it's the Board of Health's meeting. They're not looking for executive session.
No, it's just the hearing. I'm gonna give them their opportunity to say what they wanna say, and then we're gonna take that under advisement, and then we're gonna move on from there to what actually has to happen.
Because they're not requesting an executive session.
No.
But even if they did, it would be Board of Health anyway, right?
It still
It's-
has to go through us because we're the authorized, we're
It still
the
wouldn't be
government.
us.
I would make sure it's in here and it's recorded.
It is gonna be recorded.
Hmm.
Okay.
What I want, if they're not gonna make the, meeting physically, I'd rather have them here physically
Yeah,
than on Zoom.
right.
If it's gonna be a Zoom, then I'm gonna tell them, no, we want you physically here. If you're not gonna be here, then we're gonna.
Well, you don't have to offer Zoom unless
I'm
you,
not gonna offer Zoom.
unless you regularly offer it. We regularly offer it, but we do that as a courtesy.
Right.
Not all boards do it, so.
Yeah, as long as it's
Posted.
as long as the cable TV records it, that's
Right.
sufficient. Yeah, just don't put a Zoom link on the,
Yeah, I'm not going to.
yeah, the posting.
And then, we'll just deal with what needs to be dealt with at that meeting. And I'm sure he's opposed to the fines,
Oh, yeah.
because he's dropped off communication with me. He hasn't had since,
Yeah, because he's contacted his attorney now. and he's
well,
like,
even
okay,
before
let them
that, he
handle it.
stopped. Once I told him that, that you're gonna be fine because you did not meet your original requirements,
Right.
with us, then the fine started from that point in time. He dropped off communication, haven't heard from him since.
All right, very good. So, good luck with that, and, hopefully they understand that they need to make these repairs, and they get a fine.
Well, the other thing that we have in our back pocket too is if this goes to another level, it's going to housing court. And typically 99% of the time, housing court always sides with Board of Health.
Well, you certainly have enough evidence for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, shouldn't be any problem there.
All right, very good. All right, no other correspondence, comments and concerns? You have any comments and concerns?
I'd just like to say, I think the Board of Health is doing a fabulous job. You guys
Absolutely.
are putting in a heck of a lot of work right now, but I think it's really needed, and
It is.
thank you.
There's a lot out there.
You're definitely popular online right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the goal.
No?
No, it
No.
isn't, but
But people know that goes volumes because the word gets out there. And others that may not be as compliant are probably looking at being very compliant real soon,
yeah, exactly.
so.
Yep.
And it's a lot worse than people will say, oh, Board of Health does nothing to this.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. You're doing a good job.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people out there giving you guys kudos, saying, great job, and
That's just because they
I-
don't
I-
wanna see their pictures on that.
well, this, I seen comments on Facebook, and there was one chain that I looked at a couple days ago on comments, and there were over 144 comments just on one posting. and there were several postings.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they
And,
actually-
and,
They actually shut down except for postings now,
so, yeah.
that's high.
You know, it's like what kind of town do we wanna live in? Do we wanna live in a town where, you know, we have slum landlords and, I don't know, you know, bad conditions for residents and,
I don't, and you know, I look at a lot of these properties that I've been going to, and there's really no excuse. There's no excuse. A lot of the owners are outside of town,
Yep.
so they're just there to collect a check, that's all they are.
That's all they've ever done,
Right.
because that's all anybody accepted from them. Nobody forced it. You guys are doing something, you're doing your jobs, you're doing what you're supposed to do. Look out for the residents and look out, make sure everybody has a safe, healthy home to be in. You know, that's what they're paying for and that's what they expect. But not everybody's really looking to do that. They're out to collect a paycheck,
In apartments, I know what it is to be a landlord,
so.
so I wouldn't put anybody in that position. And potentially what I really would like to do is to tell these guys, you know, take them out of there and you live there and see how you like it.
Yeah, but we can't do that. As much as we wish we could. But you guys are doing a really good job. I concur with Mr. Highhawker.
Mm.
You're doing good. And it shows. You guys have been working.
yeah, it's amazing.
Anything else, sir?
No.
I'm good.
I have nothing other than just make sure everybody goes to the Lucy Stone Easter event on Saturday. As far as I know, it's supposed to be nice weather. It looks like it's still sunny. A little cool, but sunny. So we're hoping.
53 and sunny, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good weather right now.
Mhm, yeah.
So
At 4 o'clock, at 10 a.m. is gonna be 40.
40's still warmer than 20. So
It's warm and there's no mosquitoes at that temperature.
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, once it gets up to 70 degrees,
Yeah.
you're complaining about the mosquitoes and the ticks. You don't have to worry about the ticks and the mosquitoes at 40 degrees. So everybody go to that, and I hope to see everybody there. Anybody from the public comments and concerns? Mr. Conrad,
Joe Conrad, what the hell?
how you doing, sir?
Well, tomorrow is Good Friday, but it's also a special day. It's called Vietnam Veterans Combat Day. 51 years ago, the last combat units were pulled out of Vietnam. They deserve a lot more than a thank you. So, I salute you.
Thank you, Mr. Conrad. And we appreciate all our veterans, and the Vietnam veterans that were treated unfairly when they came back. You know, we care about them and we care about all our veterans. Unfortunately, we keep on getting into wars and, you know, our own people get hurt, you know, in more ways than people can imagine, whether it's physically or mentally or relationship-wise, and they pay a serious price for defending us all, and we appreciate them all and everything they do. And thank you for everybody that served, and thank you, Mr. Conrad, for pointing it out again for us, because we should remember them as much as we can. So thank you. Anybody else have any comments or concerns? No? Anybody on Zoom have any comments or concerns? No? Just Jimmy on there?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the cable TV,
I
but
see Jimmy's head peeking up over there a little
Yeah.
bit. Oh,
No.
he logged off. Oh, he went dark on us for a second.
can't see
All right.
me now.
All right, I have no comments and concerns that I can think of. So next meeting is Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 6 PM. That is a regular selectmen meeting. And it is Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 6 PM.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, and see you next week.
You were closest. I was furthest.
When